Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, Kara, aka Words by Kara. And in this episode, we have Sarah on. She is a certified nutrition coach, and we're going to be discussing how the food that we eat affects our mental health and much more. I make videos about self love and living joyfully. So if you like content like that, then you should definitely hit that bottom right subscribe button. You hit that bottom right subscribe button and join the family because I would love to have you. Okay, so Sarah and I are going to get into it. Check it out. Well, first, like I wanted to say before, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I'm really,
Of
really excited
course.
to have you. And of course, shout out to Janelle for hooking us up.
Thanks.
Um, yes, girl. Okay, so first things first, let's start with what made you want to become a certified nutrition coach?
So my nature is to help people. The love language that I love to give is acts of service. That's my whole thing.
Yes.
Nutrition is one of the most important acts of preventative care that we can do for ourselves.
Yes.
It's truly the ultimate form of self-care in my opinion. And I think so many factors, the global industrial food complex especially has just made nutrition and just the well-being of people just really low on the priority list. And I think it's really important to understand what we put in our bodies and why. And just because they just affect how we feel physically and mentally. And I figure that obtaining this kind of knowledge and being able to be certified in it would be able to help so many people understand,
Definitely.
why it's so important to know what we put in our bodies. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your acts of service and being you because
Okay.
we need it. We need it. There's so much miseducation out there and
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of things that people do. It's like, oh, I just live my lifestyle like this. This is the food that I'm used to eating, or this is the food that's more available to me.
For sure.
And then, they don't know how it can really affect them. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so that
Yeah.
goes into my next question of so far, like what have you learned about the connection between the food that we eat and like our mental health?
So, so I think that in my mind, I break it down into kind of three pillars. So the first is our gut brain connection. Um, so there's been a lot of studies, especially over the past 10 years, that have really confirmed that there is a direct link between our gut and our brain. So our gut, they actually call it our second brain. It's our gut microbiome has about 100 million nerve endings from your esophagus all the way down to the rectum. And it's called the enteric nervous system, ENS. And this nervous system communicates directly with our primary brain. So 100 million nerve endings. Our gut microbiome has about 500 million neurons. There's a lot going on in there. It's kind of like its own ecosystem, if you will. And it's the only thing like it in our body. So we really want to make sure we take care of it. And with so what helps the neurons kind of do what they have to do in the body, it's called neurotransmitters. So those are basically chemicals that like tell the neurons what to do and basically direct our mood. They control our mood, our emotions. And so the gut microbiome has a bunch of different bacteria, neurons, all these living organisms inside of it that are constantly communicating with the brain. So the neurotransmitters that are made in the gut, all of them you can think of. So serotonin, 95% of serotonin is actually made in the gut.
Oh,
Yeah. So
wow.
your dopamine, so your pleasure, motivation, this thing it's called gamma aminobutyric acid, or GABA. So this is actually kind of like the calm neurotransmitter. It controls feelings of anxiety and fear. So if you have high levels of GABA, it can improve focus. If you have low levels, it can cause anxiety, anxious feelings.
Wow, I've
So
never heard of that one.
Yeah, there's about, I think there's 8 different neurotransmitters, but these are kind of just good shout outs for the ones that are just produced in the gut, really affect kind of how our brains work. Also things like endorphins, all these sorts of things. So yeah, all these things are made in the gut. And so when you think about it, it's important to keep your gut in a state of homeostasis, in an anti-inflammatory state. So your body is able to effectively produce these neurotransmitters.
Mhm.
I mean, if you don't have a healthy gut, you're not producing all that serotonin, you know? So,
Yes.
yeah, keeping your gut in a non-inflammatory state is really important, making sure you feed it healthy bacteria, and all these kinds of things. Second pillar is the vitamins and minerals that you digest. And we've heard of a bunch of vitamins and minerals that help with our mental health. But it's really important to be able to foster good enzymes in our body as well, because the enzymes are what metabolize and break down these vitamins. We need to make sure we're getting the most bang for our buck, right?
Yes.
Because if we're taking in all these vitamins, you're taking the B12, you're taking the vitamin C, but are they really being absorbed to the best of their ability in your body? So fostering healthy enzymes is really, really important as well. And I'll get to how we can do all of that later.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So,
I'm like, oh,
um,
how?
yeah. So, just really good shout outs to a few different really key vitamins that help our mental health. Vitamin B12, that's like a mood booster, stabilizes our mood, also helps with nerve health. Zinc helps brain function. Vitamin C, which is thankfully in so many things that we eat. It can manage cortisol, so our stress hormone. And then omega-3 fatty acids, probably the most common one people know for brain function. It lowers stress and anxiety levels, lowers inflammation in the brain. And then the third pillar, I would say, is I saw somewhere it was called blood sugar chaos. So simple sugars, kind of these just refined carbs and sugars that are in everywhere we go, in everything we see. So what happens with simple sugars is it's kind of like this, right? You eat something high in sugars, refined carbs, any of those kinds of things, and it breaks down so quickly in our bodies, and it goes right into our bloodstream. Our pancreas, what takes the glucose out of our blood and into our muscles, goes, oh my God, there's so much sugar in the blood. I need to put the glucose back into the muscles. But then now that the insulin does that, your blood sugar crashes, right? So it's like high glucose sugar interchangeable. High glucose in the blood, low glucose in the blood. Because we have such a quick turnaround of low glucose in the blood, our cortisol levels, like I mentioned before, the stress hormone, rise. Cortisol levels rise. Cortisol leaves us anxious, jittery, brain fog, all these kind of things. The solution? To eat more simple sugars. So it's kind of like this wave, and a lot of people who rely on I don't know, like a pastry in the morning or a sugary cereal. This is why that's just it's not the ideal thing to start your day with, because you're going to get those cortisol, that cortisol is going to rise, and you're not going to feel great in like an hour or so, and then keep getting more and more of it. So yeah.
Okay, so speaking of like, I know you were going to mention like how you can keep those neurotransmitters more balanced in the gut. So what are some ways that we can do that?
Yeah. So right, it's all about keeping your gut in an inflammatory state, keeping it healthy. It's honestly so simple. It's eating a variety of fruits and vegetables, eating like our gut loves variety. Our gut loves the different bacterias and enzymes and proteins that come from this wide variety of things, that organisms that grow from the ground, right? So just eating a wide variety, a wide assortment of things, lean proteins, complex carbs, things with a lot of fiber, and also pre and probiotics. I know we've all heard that pre and probiotics are good for our gut health. Yeah, it really is just as simple as like eating a balanced diet. People, I think too much about, oh, how can I have a healthy gut? Eat a balanced diet.
Mm-hmm.
Eat your anti-inflammatory aromatics, ginger, turmeric, all those things. Your fruits and vegetables, and you're fine. Yes, there's people who have IBS and have these gut issues, but these things for sure can be maintained, controlled, improved by diet. And I know, it's very circumstantial. People grow up in different environments and different incomes, and but yeah, balanced diet. That's really all it is. It's and you can, and there's all this information online as well. That's really awesome.
In your opinion, like for you, for how you live your life,
Okay,
what foods do you really enjoy? Like what foods do you feel like, oh yeah, this is a good route for you to go, versus like foods that you tend to avoid?
I'm actually plant-based. It's not, I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think that it's the end all be all. I really am plant-based pretty much for ethical and environmental reasons.
Mm-hmm.
If I lived in Italy, for example, I probably wouldn't be plant-based because, the cows are usually pasture raised and fed differently and all these kinds of sorts of things. But yeah, I'm personally am plant-based. The way I look at food is like, okay, how can I add more color to this meal?
Wow.
That's honestly how I look at it. You see, I love color and art, and it's always kind of that, how can I add more color to my meal? And that's kind of the way that that's the kind of advice that I would give for anyone. I think, for example, I love pomegranate seeds. Add them to everything. Add them to guacamole, curries, all these things. Fresh herbs, they're really good for you. How can I incorporate those in? Whole fruits and vegetables. The way I look at it is, okay, I want to eat this food in the closest form, like derivative of like how it was in the ground. Like like I don't really buy pre-cut things. I'm like, I love the farmer's market. Like, let me buy these whole foods, because that's how you're going to make sure you get the most nutrients out of your food. And especially shopping local, like less risk of pesticides and all these things for your gut, healthy gut. You want to do probiotic foods. Probiotics are the live bacteria that live in your gut. So that's sourdough, kimchi, anything pickled, any dairy that's unpasteurized. The pasteurizing process gives it more shelf life, but there are companies that do safe unpasteurized dairy. So the kefir drinks, those are unpasteurized. Those are really good for your gut. And then also prebiotic foods. Probiotic is,
yeah, I never heard of prebiotic.
Yeah, so probiotics are the live bacteria in your gut, and that are in foods that you can eat, and they will end up in your gut. And prebiotic foods are like, there's certain fibers that gut bacteria feed on, which makes them thrive in your stomach, in your gut. So foods like asparagus, anything from the onion family, garlics, leeks, all those kinds of things. Berries, oats, legumes, beans, those are all prebiotic foods. So taking probiotic and prebiotic foods in tandem, wonderful, beautiful. And again, anti-inflammatory foods, ginger, turmeric, garlic, we know all those, black pepper, fat fatty fish, olive oil, tomatoes, any kind of non-hydrogenated vegetable oil is usually really good for us. avocado oil, things like that. And then you want to moderate, because I don't like to demonize food. So moderate minimally the fried foods, anything fried in like hydrogenated, saturated fats, red meat, overly processed food, and anything derived from refined flours. And if we're talking about vitamins and minerals, again, you can get your full serving, full dosage of vitamin and minerals just by eating fruits and veg and lean proteins and complex carbs. Like if you eat a balanced diet, you're gonna get what you need. And then also just other tips to make sure your digestive enzymes are working correctly and it's all going well down there. You know, make sure you chew your food thoroughly. I know really it's tough, and I don't want to count while I eat, but 20 chews is really how long you're supposed to be chewing for before you
I know I'm not doing that.
I know, me neither. It's something that takes time and practice, but you know, the digestion process starts really once the saliva is excreted in our mouth. And then while we're chewing, that's really starts the digestive process. Chew thoroughly, eat raw food sometimes. That's where you're going to get the most amount of those natural digestive enzymes in your fruits and veg. And then also you can supplement with digestive enzymes as well. But again, with thorough research, as the supplement industry is not heavily regulated. And then just a reminder about like, we really want to stay away from simple sugars so we don't have that happen to our mood. Yeah. So yeah, we don't need that. But yeah, so anything that's a whole grain, so brown, white rice, quinoa, barley, all these kinds of things. And if you go to the grocery store, if it's brown, it's most likely a whole grain. And then so you just want to moderate anything that's derived from refined flours, because really what refined flours does, it's like in a carb, there's like the bran and the germ, and like basically the refining process strips that stuff away, and that's what makes refined sugars and flours so easily digestible, because they remove all the fiber from the little bran. So yeah, white breads, cakes, loaves, pastries, pastas, couscous, even white rice. And again, fruit is totally fine. Don't have like 5 bowls of strawberries a day, but like no one does it anyways. But you know, like fruit is beautiful, fine. And yeah, like when you eat colorful, you feel colorful. And I think that's the most important takeaway. I know it's a lot of information, but again, it's like, don't think too much about it. Fruits, veg, lean protein, complex carbs, healthy fats, and you're good to go.
Good.
And yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. I really don't think too much about it. My relationship with food has changed a lot. And my taste buds have changed a lot, obviously. Like when we live in a world of, you know, this highly processed, sugar-ridden food among us, and we shouldn't feel at fault for that. Like that's just what that's what we live among, and that's what we've been taught to eat. And it's not easy, but yeah, it's just time. It's time and learning and being able to receive the knowledge and want to make the change. So
thank you for that. I actually I was pescatarian for almost like a year.
Okay, great.
Enjoyed it, and I'm like, maybe I should give it another try. And I totally noticed my taste buds changed a lot. Like I feel like I could taste everything so much stronger. Like my taste was a lot more sensitive, but in a good way. Like I would really enjoy like the ingredients a lot more.
Yeah,
more intense in a like really positive way. Yeah,
I think I can't remember, don't quote me on this. I can't remember. There's a certain amount I think it's like 2 weeks, like the taste buds in your mouth, they literally swap themselves out. And that's why our taste buds change. That's why, you know, we notice that when we start eating differently. I think it's 2 weeks. I'm not sure.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they literally, they're like cells. They cycle themselves out. And yeah, so it's possible. It's possible.
Yes.
It can seem very overwhelming to go on with this kind of a healthy journey, but it's possible.
How has becoming a nutrition coach like affected the people around you, like the people in your life? Do you think it has?
Oh my God, they love it. They love it. They love having they love having like the health girl right here. Like my roommates are, always asking me questions, and they're always excited to hear what I've learned, or what I'm learning about. And yeah, even, my roommates like eat more vegetables now. And that just makes me so happy, My one roommate is always like, okay, how can I add a vegetable into this meal? And like that impact is so, so special to me. And and because I always say you don't have to be perfect. Like a balanced diet is what it sounds like, a balanced diet. I try not to demonize food. Have the mac and cheese on the side if you want, like, but just make sure you're eating a variety of fruits, veg, like I said, and like be happy. I think that I've been able to teach the people around me that healthy food doesn't have to be boring. And I know that's so cliche to say, but like, it can be fun. Like I love food. I love food.
Me
Such
too.
a foodie, like, but it's about the relationship that you have with food. And I think that I've been able to teach the people around me that it's possible to have a healthy relationship with food and want to cook and want to go to the farmer's market and want to pick out your own produce. And because when I say relationship, I literally mean like relationship, like how you like feeling food and like being able to see all the pretty colors at the farmer's market, at the grocery store. It's a whole new way of looking at things. So
definitely.
Yeah.
What has your like health journey been like?
So it's 2022 now. 2019, I just decided to stop eating meat. And my last time I had chicken was I had like 20 pieces at Buffalo Wild Wings. Like I went out with a bang. And 2 days later, I was like, I don't think I want to eat meat anymore. And so that was actually the first time that I noticed. I was like, oh, that's the first time that I had this dietary change and noticed that it affected my body, and I think just beyond that, it started to be like, okay, how can I cook more healthfully? How can, like, now I need to learn how to cook these vegetables. Now I need to learn how to cook this tofu, like I had to really, understand, and just obtain a little more knowledge. And I started to become more open-minded to new fruits, new vegetables that I haven't tried before. I may go into the farmer's market, a routine. And again, like I love it. I always have, and I definitely have fallen into bouts of emotional eating for sure. A lot of us, I would never say I had disordered eating, but it for sure happened. And I think I started to understand my cravings. I said, okay, here's a craving. How can I replace that craving? Or I would fulfill the craving, but just in moderation. So for example, like the mac and cheese. Okay, I'm going to make this. I actually still make this meal all the time. Tofu, roasted broccoli, and mac and cheese, a vegan mac and cheese. But like it's about that balance. And I learned to not feel bad if I went to the ice cream truck or had a side of mac and cheese, because I know that I am feeding my body with all this different variety of foods. And yeah, I think to be able to show people that like you can feed your body and feel your best, but also like while healing your relationship with food is like so important, because like I did it And it's like a lot of, for example, a lot of people who like lose a lot of weight and get into like the fittest shape of their life want to become personal trainers because, you know, they want to help people and they can relate to that experience. So, and of course, for serious EDs, always seek a professional. But, you know, you can make food fun. And it's, again, it's just like truly one of the most self-care things you can do for yourself. So that was my journey, and I'm still on it and having a good time.
Well, I love that you're having a good time. And I love hearing you talk about your journey with this and how passionate you are. Like, I see it, and it's making me think like, oh, how can I add more vegetables? And it really is just like this really cool thing where you're influencing others in a way, or like bringing more into it and like relaxed type of way. And it's really makes it seem more approachable. So
thank you. That's the goal.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and I'm going to have Sarah's information in the description box. Reach out to her. I feel like you'd be an amazing coach to have. So absolutely reach out to her. And I guess I just want to ask, like, the last question is, what advice would you give to someone who is considering to pursue this career and become a nutrition coach?
I think to be inquisitive, because I mean, this is science after all that you're learning. I mean, I literally learned, you know, what the chemical breakdown of what a protein is, what a fat and a lipid is, what a carb is, how glucose metabolizes, how all these things metabolize in your body, vitamins, all these things. It can seem overwhelming, but to be inquisitive and want to really learn, and because you can go down a rabbit hole, like, how does this happen and what is, you know, so just really wanting to be informed. I think that's important. And also, if we're talking about really coaching, empathy is so important. It's so easy to have certain biases towards people who have certain eating habits, look a certain way, but like, eating habits come from trauma, environmental factors, the like income, it, so many different things. And I think it's just being open to your clients and just being inquisitive in that way too, understanding what their motivational factors are, why they might have not been successful in healthy eating patterns in the past. Just really extending that empathy towards clients is very, very important. So, and that's what I try to do. It's, again, eating and cooking for yourself, and nutrition should be fun and informative and exciting, and that's what it's all about. So
I love it. Thank you so much, Sarah. I feel smarter. I feel more empowered to like add more healthy food to my diet, as like in a joyful way, like not like a punishment way, or not. Not
never punishment.
And I can eat, you know, certain treats as well, and it's okay. Not anything to be ashamed of. So thank you.
No, yeah. And one last shout out, just because I know people will be watching this. Remember that supplements and vitamins are not substitutions for the actual vitamins and minerals in your food. Don't think a green juice is gonna fix all your issues. Supplement with it, but don't. And also, the supplement industry is very unregulated, so do a lot of research if you are gonna take supplements.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes if you're not doing the research, maybe now you have too much of it or something in you.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, you're not like for example, too much. There are certain vitamins where you can have too much of them, but too much of a vitamin is like not gonna benefit in you in any way. You know what I mean? Like the if you're overdosing, but not really. If you're going past the dosage of a certain vitamin, it's not gonna give you any more benefits. You just need the recommended dosage, and that's it. But I just wanted to say that, because a lot of people think that, you know, all these vitamins and things that they're taking are gonna change the way they feel, and yeah.
It's like, not if you're not taking care of home base probably first in your gut, Yeah. And like you said, it won't be absorbed if it's not like balanced in there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It won't be absorbed to the fullest extent if yeah, for sure. So yeah, at least see, it's like you could talk about this kind of stuff forever. There's just so much to learn about. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. My website, it's gonna be up soon. So stay tuned for that. And my brand is called Eat Well Always. So
I love that.
yeah.
So
Thank you for having me.
of course. And
Thank you for giving me this platform to educate the people. I really appreciate it.
thank you so much for coming on and
Of course.
just being so down and so prompt. Like we did this really quick. We were like, okay, let's set this up. This was lovely. Thank you guys once again. Sarah's information is going to be in the description box. And we really are grateful that you guys stayed and watched. Okay, bye.
Bye.